Hi everyone, my name is Ty Trumbull and I handle the content here at Acquira. Today I wanted to talk to you about the difference between buying a business and buying a franchise. The appeal of buying into a franchise is generally that you get a recognized brand and systems that you know work, and there is a lot of value in those things. But on the other hand, you don't get instant cash flow, you don't get any staff, and you don't get any customers. All things that are included when you buy an existing operational business. Now, some people might say that franchising is a better option because it's easier to get financing. But a lot of people don't realize that financing is just as available for buying an existing business through the Small Business Administration. We believe that acquiring a business is the best path to building wealth and creating a life that offers freedom and opportunity better than any other investment. And that's where Acquira comes in. For those unfamiliar with Acquira, here's a little background info. We're your acquisition in a box, a full spectrum end-to-end service that helps entrepreneurs through every stage of the acquisition entrepreneurship process. That means we help people find businesses, we train them on how to analyze deals and everything they need to know to go through the closing process. After the business is bought, we help them grow that business and provide a path for their eventual exit. We've done over 30 acquisitions at the time of recording this video and invested in over $50 million worth of small businesses. We've sold 7 of them, and in 2021 created a roll-up of 3 companies with over $30 million in revenue that we plan to take public in 2023. Most people don't know this, but we are in the midst of one of the greatest generational transfers of wealth in history. In the United States right now, nearly 80 million baby boomers are set to retire over the next decade. Over half of all small businesses are owned by baby boomers, which represents trillions of dollars worth of small business assets that need to switch hands. It also represents 25 million jobs that could be threatened, as the majority of these businesses just have no succession plan. This is front and center on the Small Business Administration's radar, and they are using federal funds to help transition these businesses to new owners. In 2021 alone, the SBA funded nearly $45 billion through traditional non-COVID relief funds, most of which were used for business acquisition. The terms on these SBA loans are incredibly appealing, making acquisition entrepreneurship one of the best investment opportunities in existence in the United States. You can borrow up to $5 million with up to 90% leverage. So, if a business costs $1 million, you only need $100,000 in equity. In that example, the remaining $900,000 will be paid off over 10 years, often at 5% interest rates. This would result in an annual debt payment of just under $130,000. But the other secret that acquisition entrepreneurs are waking up to is that these businesses are still traded cheaply. The purchase price for a business earning less than $1 million of EBITDA per year is typically 2 to 3 years worth of EBITDA. That means our business, valued at $1 million, is likely making $400,000 per year. Subtract your debt payment from that $400K and the business is now generating over $271,000 per year in EBITDA, even without growing the business. That's a 270% return on your equity in just the first year. Even if you invest an additional $120,000 to $20,000 in the business for more staff so it can grow, it's still $150,000 per year, or a 150% return. When you consider that a good portion of that is repaying the principal of the loan, the actual returns are even higher. In fact, after the loan has been repaid in 10 years, the business is now earning $400K per year without growth and is still worth $1 million, and there is no longer any debt on the business, assuming multiples don't go up in 10 years, which they likely will. Over those 10 years, you will have made $270,000 per year and will then be able to sell the business again for $1 million. All of this without actually growing the business. If you'd like to see the numbers broken down in more detail, we can send you a case study we published from a company we worked with. Simply follow the link below and enter your information and we'll send it right over. So all of this has kicked off a tsunami of interest in acquisition entrepreneurship, and it's not just because it's a great financial investment. It can also be an amazing lifestyle choice. If you're someone who wants to have more time and more financial freedom, then owning a streamlined business is often the best way to go. The issue is actually getting that business. Building a startup takes years of blood, sweat, and tears just to find product market fit and build your team and customer base, but you can skip all that by buying a company that already exists. Buying an existing business allows you to step into a business with existing customers, existing staff, and existing cash flow. Once the business is purchased, you can implement systems with our training and eventually step out of the day-to-day operations to spend more time doing what you love. You can then continue acquiring more businesses and build a portfolio of companies, and this is where the real wealth building begins. We do a more in-depth explanation of this concept in our roll-up video, which we'll link to below. So this all sounds great, but buying a business isn't easy. If it was, everyone would be doing it. In our history, we've identified a few common pain points for acquisition entrepreneurs, or as we like to call them, AEs. Pain point number one is that it's hard to find good deals out there. This is also known as deal sourcing, and it's just because the business broker market is so fragmented, and it still isn't very common knowledge to business owners that they can sell their business. Number two, once you find a deal, how do you analyze it to make sure it's a good fit and you're not going to get screwed later on down the road? Three is a lack of financing. Most AEs don't have $1 million sitting in their bank account to buy a 7-figure business. Many aren't aware that the SBA exists and they have the ability to buy a business with just 10% down. Number four, navigating the complex closing process. Not only is this operational due diligence, it also includes legal contracts, financial diligence, tax optimization, dealing with lenders, putting together a business plan, financial projections, and much more. The next pain point is actually a huge question mark for many acquisition entrepreneurs, and that is, how do you actually systematize and grow the business after you buy it? Once you buy that business, your job has just begun, so how do you make sure you're not just acquiring yourself another job? The goal of most AEs is to eventually step away from the day-to-day operations and be an absentee owner, or to acquire more companies and build their own portfolio. Finally, pain point number 6, the exit. Selling the business for more than you paid is the final step on the acquisition journey. Unfortunately, many people simply aren't well versed on how to position their business for the best possible exit. Acquira's integration systems and training were designed to help you grow the business so you can exit for huge profits. Now, earlier we talked about our successes, and again, if you'd like a case study outlining those numbers, simply fill out the form in the description. But those successes are just part of the story. What we believe is more important are the things we learned along the way. We've made tons of mistakes and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning from them. 30 acquisitions in, there's not much that catches us by surprise. But those mistakes have allowed us to build a systematic framework that identifies undervalued businesses, buys them on strong terms, puts the right systems and team in place, and then accelerates growth. This was all built so that other people don't have to make the same mistakes we did. All of that begs the question, what does a business look like at the end of the acquisition journey? Well, your business is running like a well-oiled machine. You have a general manager and a leadership team that sets goals, builds and iterates on systems, and runs the business to a budget. You can now continue to build your business empire without getting bogged down by the day-to-day minutiae. And many people will hold on to the business and do more of what they love, while others will want to grow organically enough to exit it to private equity, and others still will want to build their own private equity empires and take those public. We've got you covered on all those fronts. We believe small businesses will become the next trillion-dollar asset class, and in 30 years, they will be liquidly traded by retail investors. Acquira was founded to be a leader in the ecosystem necessary to support that asset class. We want to help you find a business, close it, onboard it, and grow it. And if you're eventually interested in selling it at a higher multiple, we want to help connect you to a buyer. So, here we are at the end of the video. If you're looking to begin your own business buying journey today, the next step is to join the Accelerator. The Accelerator is designed to help you close a business in half the time at half the cost it would take you to find a business on your own. And the program is actually designed to help close a business for you within 7 months. To see if you're eligible for the program, fill out your information below. And thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. Take care.